Did you know that the average entrepreneur wastes 21.8 hours per week on low value tasks? That's more than half a work week spent on activities that don't move the needle. Imagine what you could achieve if you could reclaim that time. In this video, I'll reveal how top entrepreneurs use the 80-20 rule to focus on what really matters and how you can do the same. Picture this, you're sitting at your desk, sticky notes covering every inch of free space, your phone buzzing non-stop, and your to-do list stretching longer than your arm. Sound familiar? If you're nodding your head right now, you might be caught in what I call the busy trap. It's that feeling that if you're not constantly doing something, you're falling behind. Well, here's the thing. Being busy doesn't always mean you're being productive. In fact, it could be costing you big time. Let's talk about multitasking for a second. We often think that we're being super productive when we're juggling multiple tasks at once, right? Well, I've got some news for you that might surprise you. Multitasking can actually reduce your productivity by up to 40%. That's like throwing away nearly half your workday. Imagine if you could reclaim that time and focus on the tasks that really move the needle for your business. But it's not just your work that suffers when you're caught at the busy trap. A study found that entrepreneurs who reportedly felt busy all the time experience higher levels of stress and a poorer work-life balance as well. Think about that for a second. How many times have you missed out on important moments with the family or friends because you were too busy? How often do you feel stressed and overwhelmed, even though you're working non-stop? Now, let's break this down with some real numbers for you. I want you to really let this sink in. If you're working 60 hours a week, which is pretty common for entrepreneurs, by the way, but only 20% of that time is truly productive, you're essentially wasting 48 hours every single week. But here's the real shocker, everyone. Many entrepreneurs are so caught up in being busy, they don't even realize they're stuck in this cycle. They wear their business like a badge of honor, thinking it's the sign of success or dedication. So what's the first step to breaking free from this cycle? It's recognizing that being busy isn't the same as being effective. It's about working smarter, not harder, and that's where the 80-20 rule comes into play. The 80-20 rule, also known as Pareto's Principle, suggests that 80% of your results come from 20% of your effort. Applying this to your work life can be a game changer. Instead of trying to do everything, focus on identifying the tasks that truly drive your business forward. These are your high impact activities, the ones that generate the most revenue, attract the most customers, and solve the biggest problems. Once you've identified these key tasks, it's time to start eliminating or delegating the rest. This might feel uncomfortable at first, and you might worry that things will fall apart if you're not personally handling every detail, but trust me, this is where the magic happens. By focusing on your high impact tasks and letting go of the rest, you'll not only become more productive, but you'll also reduce your stress levels and improve your work-life balance. You'll have more time to strategize, to innovate, and to actually enjoy the business you've built. Now, listen, I know what some of you might be thinking, but Alan, I can't just stop doing all of these tasks. They're very important, and you're right, and they might be very important, but are they the most important? Are they the tasks that will move your business forward? That's the question you need to ask yourself, people. Remember, the goal isn't to do more, it's to achieve more. It's about maximizing your impact while maximizing your effort, and that's exactly what the 80-20 rule allows you to do. Since I've implemented this across my portfolio of companies, I've seen my overall general well-being improve, less stress, more motivation to work on projects that excite me and will help towards our overall goals. If you're enjoying this content, people, please smash a like and subscribe to the channel. And also, if you want to see even more of what I'm doing day to day, and for more insider tips on building your business, you want to join my free school community, where we are building a group of like-minded people who want to grow their business, grow their net worth, whilst having an absolute ball. Links in the show notes below. Whilst I've been aware of the 80-20 rule since my A-level in economics, I have never actually applied this to my business and life until the last few years. And to say this has been a game changer for me is an absolute understatement, and here's some of the ways on screen of how this has benefited me. I've been able to sell 2 businesses by age 32, and one based on a multi-million-dollar valuation, and it has allowed me to focus my efforts on what really matters in my businesses, normally being sales and marketing, and I've outsourced the operations and finance parts to better people in my businesses. I have more time for family and friends, making me a better dad and partner, and all of this has led to increased revenues, increased profits, and the ability for people within my business to take on more responsibilities, earn more money, and also give them a sense of purpose within a thriving organization. Now, you don't need to just apply the 80-20 rule to your business, but I'd also highly recommend applying this to your personal life. And you might be asking why. Do you enjoy doing your garden, dealing with your personal appointments, or would you rather outsource these low-level admin tasks? That's where an executive assistant comes in who can take all that away from you completely. EAs can handle all this and more, and my assistant handles flight bookings, car parking, parking tickets. Yes, the wife does get far too many parking tickets, and there's much more as well. If you want to work less, earn more, and live free, an EA is definitely an important hire to achieve this. Alright, let's dive into the nitty gritty of putting the 80-20 rule into action for you, my viewers. I know you're excited about the potential, but you might be wondering, how do I actually make this work for my business? Don't worry, I've got you covered with a step-by-step plan that'll transform your work life in just 1 week. First things first, we need to figure out where your time is going. I want you to become a time detective for the next 7 days. Grab a notebook or use a time tracking app on your phone, whatever works for you. And what is your mission? Record every single task you do and how long it takes. And listen, I mean everything. From that big client presentation to scrolling through Instagram during your lunch break. Trust me, this might feel a bit tedious, but it's going to be a real eye-opener. While you're tracking your time, let's also take a good hard look at your money. Pull up your financial records and identify which clients or products are bringing in the most cash. These are your golden geese and they're likely part of that crucial 20% we're after. Now here's where it gets very interesting, people. Once you've got your time log and your revenue analysis, it's time to play matchmaker. Are you spending most of your time on these high earning activities? And if not, we've got some work to do. This is where a lot of entrepreneurs hit a roadblock. You might realize that you're spending hours on tasks that aren't really moving the needle for your business. Maybe you're getting bogged down in endless email chains or spending too much time on low paying clients. It's time to make some tough decisions, everyone. Here's the challenging part, everyone. We need to start saying no to those low impact activities. Now, this might mean turning down certain clients or delegating tasks you're used to handling yourself. I know it's not easy, especially if you're used to doing everything in your business, but remember, we're aiming for working smarter, not harder. Now, what do you do with all that time you've freed up? Simple, you double down on your high impact activities. Remember, these are tasks that directly link to your biggest revenue streams. Maybe it's pitching to new high value clients, creating that online course you've been putting off, or fine tuning your product line. Let me give you a real world example. I had a graphic designer reach out to me called Sarah. She was spending hours each day on small one-off projects that barely covers her bills. After analysing her business, she realised that her branding projects for small businesses were bringing the bulk of her income. So she made a bold move. She started saying no to the small jobs and focused on actively marketing her branding services. Within a month, she had doubled her income while working fewer hours. Now I get it, the process can feel a little bit overwhelming at first. That's why I recommend using some tools to help you out. There are a ton of great time tracking apps out there that can make this whole process a lot easier, and one I personally use is ToggyTrack, and I have linked to this in the show notes below for you to look at. This will give you a clear visual breakdown of where you're spending your time, where it's going, and it can be really eye-opening, guys. Remember, the goal here isn't to work yourself to the bone. It's about identifying those goals and opportunities in your business and giving them the attention they deserve. By consistently applying this process, you'll naturally start to work less, earning more, and it's not about working hard, everyone, it's about working smarter. Alright, let's wrap this up with some powerful insights. The 80-20 rule isn't just some fancy theory, it's a game changer that can totally transform your business and life. And here's the kicker, everyone. Research shows that entrepreneurs who really nail this principle can boost their productivity by up to 50%. That means you could be working way less while pulling in more cash. How's that for a win-win? Now I get it. Changing your whole business overnight might seem overwhelming. So here's what I want you to do. Start small. Pick just one area of your business this week and apply the 80-20 rule. Maybe it's identifying your top clients or outsourcing those low impact tasks that eat up your time. Trust me, you might be shocked at the results. The path to working less and earning more is right there in front of you. It's not about working harder, it's about working smarter. As always, guys, smash a like, subscribe to the channel, and remember, click the link below to join my free school community and accelerate your wealth and happiness.